for almost 30 years, we have stovepiped the Iranian nuclear weapons threat and the North Korean nuclear weapons threat.
News now, Justin. The Pentagon confirming to CNN the U.S. has detected a ballistic missile launch out of North Korea in just the past.
I think that's been a mistake, and I think right now it's important to look at what the connections are. Because they've both been developing ballistic missiles for the purpose of using them to deliver nuclear warheads. I think there's every reason to believe that there's cooperation on the nuclear front, and maybe even worst of all, whatever North Korea accomplishes, I think Iran can have the next day by writing a check. So a lot of this debate we've been having over the Iran nuclear deal or how to handle North Korea ignores the fact we've really got a global threat here based on the cooperation between the two of them. And the mistakes we've made for 25 years in both cases about how to handle North Korea and Iran have brought us to this point.
But
why
you're
we
making
had
a
very
case,
little time.
You make a case in part to make a first strike against North Korea. Now, how do you imagine dealing with the fallout? From that?
Well, I'm not making the case to do that. I've said, and I say in that piece, that I think there's one diplomatic play left to try and get China to agree to reunify the two Koreas. We don't have good options because we've wasted 25 years pursuing the wrong policy. The real issue, as the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dunford, said recently, is that it's unimaginable to him to allow the North Koreans to have the capability to destroy American cities. And that's the real fact. We're not looking for a confrontation here, but I find it unimaginable as well to leave that regime in North Korea, or frankly the regime in Tehran, to have nuclear weapons to use as terrorist devices. You know, we talk about the nuclear program, we talk about terrorism as if they're separate things. In the hands of neither North Korea nor Iran are their nuclear capabilities military threats to the United States. They are threats to our innocent civilian populations. They are terrorists, and that's what they're aimed at.
Well, more on Tehran. Nikki Haley said this at the UN about that.
One country uses its support for terrorist proxies to conduct its foreign policy and to compensate for its own weakness. That country is Iran. Its training, funding, and arming of terrorists has continued unabated to this day. The international community must work together and do more to prevent weapons from falling into the hands of terrorists.
Well, as North Korea gets so much more attention, this does not. But I imagine it has not been solved either. Last word on that, sir.
Yeah, no, look, she's absolutely right. And the Iran nuclear deal was intended by the Obama administration not just to handle the nuclear threat, but to help change Iranian behavior more broadly. It has manifestly failed on both grounds. And as Nikki Haley's saying, imagine if this is the way they still behave on terrorism today, how will they behave when they have nuclear weapons?
Thank you, sir. John Bolton, more to
Thank you,
come.
Bill.
These will not be solved tonight. Thank you for coming back. Here's Shannon.
Thank you.